Topping today's news, the National Security Minister denies claims of thousands of citizenship approvals. The Free National Movement announcing plans to deal with unregulated communities. The United States unhappy with the Bahamas-China hospital deal, and a third person involved in Saturday morning's traffic accident dies in hospital. This is your JCN Evening News. I'm Dorino Saunders. Thank you so much for joining us. After a social media post by Pastor Glenroy Bethel out of Grand Bahama claiming that the Davis administration is approving thousands of work permits and citizenship requests for Haitian citizens in a bid to win the 2026 general elections, Minister of National Security Wayne Munroe sought to squash those claims during his televised address on Sunday from the office of the Prime Minister.
As for the opposition's operative's reckless claim, the 300,000 applications are pending for citizenship. That, too, is a deliberate distortion. Those 300,000 files includes every kind of document collected since the department's inception. And these include expired permits, rejected applications, employers' letters, archived forms, and duplications. The truth is that we're the first government to undertake to fully digitize the records, to eliminate fraud, to clear the backlogs, and to ensure integrity in every decision.
Munroe was speaking at a press conference at the office of the Prime Minister on Sunday. The National Security Minister then addressed the opposition leader directly in regards to allegations of government officials in the Department of Immigration engaging in corruption.
As a final word to Mr. Pintard and the opposition, if you have knowledge of individuals employed by this government who are engaged in human trafficking, name them. Bring the evidence. Don't insult the intelligence of the Bahamian people by hiding behind vague accusations. Law enforcement does not deal in innuendo. They require a complaint.
The opposition has made repeated calls for the firing or removal of Mr. Munroe as the National Security Minister. They say he is failing the Bahamian people in that position. Meanwhile, the FNM leader, Michael Pintard, is promising decisive action on what he calls a crisis of illegal land occupation in the Bahamas. He says both public and private lands are being taken over unlawfully. The Free National Movement leader says illegal land use has gone unchecked for too long, with squatters taking over public land and private owners turning a blind eye to unregulated developments.
Too many have turned a blind eye to building codes, health regulations, and immigration status, so long as they are getting paid. What is also true is that there are some, under the guise of pushing back against illegal occupation, who themselves have begun to illegally occupy lands that do not belong to them.
Pintard says an FNM government will launch a national land audit, change laws to empower both the state and private owners, and take swift action to remove unregulated communities.
We will amend the law to ensure that private landowners are supported in reclaiming their property where illegal communities have taken root. And where owners fail to act, the government will intervene and recover costs from those owners.
Pintard says the plan is part of a broader push to secure land, enforce laws, and build safe, legal Bahamian communities. Meanwhile, the Minister of National Security, Wayne Munroe, confirming that Shanty town demolitions will continue under the Davis administration. During that press conference on Sunday, where he defended the Davis administration's immigration policies, Mr. Munroe sought to explain that this government is also doing a better job at eradicating unregulated communities than did the FNM.
And legally, but this government has done it illegally and have demolished 7. And we aren't stopping at that. We're continuing to do it. They talk about it, but we do it. And then when they run on trying to stoke fear about these NIB cards, and the fact of the matter is, people duck out on paying NIB.
By the end of 2024, more than 500 illegal structures had been demolished across the Bahamas, including on New Providence, Abaco, mainland Eleuthera, and Spanish Wells. In March this year, the Minister of Works and Family Island Affairs, Clay Sweeting, announced that 30-day notices had been issued for demolition of another unregulated community right here on New Providence. The United States has made it clear that it is not pleased with the growing influence by China in the region and has warned Caribbean nations against doing business with what it describes as communist China. On Friday, the Bahamas signed a $195 million deal with the China Export-Import Bank for the construction of a new 200-bed specialty hospital that will cost some $267 million in total. The government of the Bahamas will raise the remaining funds through local and foreign investments. It has been reported that the Davis administration turned down a British offer to fund the new hospital. Latre Ramming, Director of Communications in the Office of the Prime Minister, acknowledged that there was a potential offer by the British, but noted that negotiations with the Chinese were too advanced. Ramming further explains that while the government understands the long-standing geopolitical issues between the United States and China, the government of the Bahamas does not wish to get involved in the issue between the two superpowers. He said the government of the Bahamas views both the United States and China as mutual friends and partners. And finally, in this segment, police wish to inform the public that with reference to the traffic accident that occurred on Saturday, July 12th in the area of Blue Hill Road and Kim's Crescent, a 33-year-old male passenger succumbed to his injuries while in hospital on Monday. He was an occupant in the vehicle where two females died as a result of that accident. The two female victims have been identified as 41-year-old Natasha David and her daughter, 24-year-old Nia St. Fleur. There are now 41 traffic fatalities on record for the year. Last year, this time, there were 34 traffic fatalities. There were 66 total traffic fatalities in all of 2024, and that was up from 51 in 2023. We'll take a break here. We'll be right back following these commercials.